Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
Search is on for a serial assault suspect after two women are attacked on the same street.
The FBI's stunning reveal about ISIS already in the U.S., why hundreds of followers are now in the U.S., and the urgent steps being taken tonight.
A spring storm brings snow, wind, rain, and cold temperatures. What's next for our weekend? Good evening, I'm Michelle Tuzzi, in for Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm David Dona. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And the hunt continues for a man who preys on women. He's wanted for an attempted rape and the sexual assault of another woman in the area of Milliken Avenue and Azusa Court in Rancho, Cucamonga. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia has the latest on the search for the suspect.
This is a composite sketch of the man the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department wants off the streets. He's wanted for two attacks on women just days apart.
That's very scary.
The first woman was attacked Saturday night around 10:45 near her apartment complex at Church and Milliken.
He punched her. He pulled her to a darkened area, and there was a short struggle, and she was actually able to free herself and get away from the scene safely, and he fled on foot.
Around 10:30 Monday night, the second woman was assaulted near 6th and Milliken, about a mile away from Saturday night's attack.
She noticed somebody was quickly following her, and then she was continued to walk. He ended up catching up to her, grabbing her, and taking her off to the road, to the side of the road, where he sexually assaulted her. He later fled on foot.
The sketch is based on the descriptions the two women gave detectives. Residents around here say Rancho Cucamonga is one of the safest areas in the Inland Empire. Having said that, Michelle Martin says she's taking more precautions.
Just watch my surroundings. Don't talk to anybody that I don't know for sure. And don't stay out late at night.
Scared is how Judy Martha and her daughter feel after finding out what happened near their home.
I don't venture after that. I just, you should know as a woman not to go out by yourself around that time.
It actually makes me have to be more aware of my surroundings. Kind of scares me, but yeah, I have to definitely look. Can't be as nice to everyone as you think you can be.
And the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department says if you spot the suspect that's shown in the composite sketch, simply call 911 and report it. In Rancho Cucamonga, I'm Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
An update now to a developing story we've been following in San Jose. An arrest has been made in connection to two attempted sexual assaults, including an attack on a 13-year-old girl. The suspect, identified as Mohammed Khaliki, was arrested this afternoon in San Leandro. Police say he followed that girl home from school Tuesday and was caught on her home surveillance video assaulting her before she fought him off. Officials believe he is the same man that attempted to assault a 28-year-old woman in a grocery store restroom last month.
A woman who allegedly broke in and vandalized singer Chris Brown's Agora Hills mansion has pleaded not guilty. 21-year-old Amira Ayib was arrested yet Wednesday when Brown returned home to find an intruder inside. Brown took a photo of the woman, who appears to be wearing only some towels. Ayib was charged with a felony count of stalking, residential burglary, and vandalism. She allegedly vandalized his house, cars, even cooked some meals in his kitchen. Today, the judge ordered Ayib to have no contact with Brown. The protective order will remain in place for 3 years. And actress Demi Moore is dealing with some real-life drama as well. A burglar looted her North Hollywood storage unit. Moore's assistant stopped by the unit Monday, discovered there was property missing. The lock was still on the door, so police say the thief either forced the lock open or may have had a key. The theft happened sometime after the unit was last checked 6 months ago. It's still unclear just what was stolen, but police say it's a substantial amount of property.
Police in Australia say they have disrupted a terror plot to detonate 3 bombs in Melbourne. This comes after another FBI warning about an unprecedented threat to the United States from ISIS. ABC's Martha Raddatz has more on the steps being taken tonight, including beefing up security.
Installations like this base, Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, and thousands of other military installations across the country are on higher alert tonight. Some of the increased security you'll be able to see, some you won't. In just the past few months, a young American arrested for allegedly planning to attack a Texas military base. And ISIS supporters recently posted names, pictures, and addresses of 100 American service members online, urging followers to kill them. While there is no specific ISIS threat, this does come just one day after that chilling FBI warning that there are hundreds of active ISIS supporters in the U.S. right now.
Again, that was ABC's Martha Raddatz reporting.
The stormy weather sent a large tree toppling down in one Anaheim neighborhood, causing damage to an apartment and crushing several vehicles. According to the city of Anaheim, the oak tree was at least 100 years old, and after some steady rain, the tree came crashing down, crushing 3 cars and breaking through the roof of an apartment. Luckily, no one was injured.
We're all heartbroken. It was a beautiful tree. I'm just more like happy to be alive.
Crews are expected to be back in the area on Monday to remove the rest of the tree.
And in our local mountains, some areas got as much as 5 inches of snow from this spring storm. Eyewitness News Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan reports from Rim Forest.
While some of the snow was already melting by mid-morning, by looking at these cars, you can tell that it's going to take quite a while for all of it to go away. Even in mid-spring, the snowplows were busy, which was a surprise for a lot of people.
Well, it caught me off by surprise, definitely, yeah. They said snow and I expected half an inch, so I went to bed without thinking about it, woke up to 4 inches. It's like, are you kidding me? I have to shovel?
Yes, some folks do not like shoveling snow at all, but for students in the Rim of the World School District, there was a lot to like about a snow day and an unexpected 3-day weekend.
For me, it's very unexpected. I was just down the hill and it was like 80 degrees and I was just like, oh, this is nice. And then I come back up here and they're like, it's going to snow on Thursday.
But who says it has to be sunny and warm to barbecue?
There's a lot of people that, in this weather, they never think about barbecuing.
There were plenty of pretty pictures to be had in the mountains today, but also a few messes to clean up.
Describe what it sounded like.
A train coming through the house.
Dejanine King says so much snow came down that it overwhelmed many of the trees in Crestline. This one came crashing down into her house.
Oh, it was terribly scary. I thought it was an earthquake, and then I thought it was a gas line blowing.
Could you believe there was this much snow? I mean, was this what you were...
No, I didn't expect anything like this.
And just to give you an idea as to how unusual this storm was for this time of year, I checked with the National Weather Service, and they say the official snowfall total up here was 3.3 inches. Only twice since 1960 have they had more snow up here in the month of May. In Rim Forest, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
3.3 inches, perfect forecast that we predicted yesterday.
That's right.
3 inches. And Jonathan Novak joins us right now to talk about whether anything else is out there.
I said 3. 1 to 3. Didn't say 3.3. Stay close. I'm Megan Alper, 7000 HD. Folks, we still have a couple of areas that are seeing either some light snow around Big Bear or some light rain, a little echo showing up there just south of Cherry Valley, east of Moreno Valley, and west of Banning. And we head up to the northwest of that, and Crestline, a little sprinkle there, and some light snow possibly reaching the ground there around Wrightwood. And we had a little shower here that's still hanging on around East Los Angeles by Commerce. Otherwise, it's dry. We are on a downtrend. It is going to be a nice weekend ahead. We will get to that in the full forecast. I want to show you some of the totals from today. Almost got to 0.4 of an inch from San Bernardino. Beaumont, about the same. 0.35 Temecula, just over a quarter in Torrance, and almost 0.2 in Long Beach of an inch of rainfall with this system. Not a tremendous amount of shower activity. It was sort of a steady shower for here and there areas around Southern California. But that's it. It's heading out of here tonight. I'll detail when the warm-up starts in that 7-day forecast.
All right, I was going to say Dallas. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Don't insult him.
All right, remember you can track the storm on your mobile device with this free ABC7 Mega Doppler weather app. It's available from the iTunes App Store, Amazon, and Google Play. Just search Mega Doppler.
The Baltimore Police Department is now under the watchful eye of the federal government. This after the April death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray, who suffered a fatal injury to his spine while in Baltimore police custody. 6 officers face charges connected to Gray's death, ranging from false imprisonment to murder. Today, Attorney General Loretta Lynch announced the launch of a federal investigation into the police department's inner workings.
This investigation will begin immediately and will focus on allegations that Baltimore Police Department officers use excessive force, including deadly force, conduct unlawful searches, seizures, and arrests, and engage in discriminatory policing.
Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake requested the Justice Department investigation into the city's police department.
A local senator is trying to prevent violent confrontations between law enforcement and people with mental illness. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda has more from today's state Senate hearing, including the push for more training.
They are disturbing images, violent confrontations between law enforcement and people who have mental illness. The question today is how to prevent this.
We may at times be afraid, alone, without a home, or hallucinating, but that does not make us criminal.
At this state Senate hearing on mental health, officials agreed there needs to be more behavioral health training for officers. Right now, state law mandates only 6 hours.
Clearly what's necessary to empower the officers with the information, techniques, real-life examples they need to understand how to react under pressure when they're confronted with the situation.
After this incident, the CHP changed its procedures. Training is now 40 hours, both in class and in the field.
A big component of that is identifying, recognizing someone who's suffering from a mental illness crisis, being able to de-escalate these situations.
LA County Sheriff Jim McDonald says the county jail is the largest mental health facility in the nation. About a fifth of inmates have mental illness.
That's not the place for them, and if there's an opportunity to be able, as we move forward, to be able to advocate for community-based mental health clinics.
Vicki Vickers was homeless for 4.5 years and says she needs to regain trust in the system.
I now fear what I'm supposed to respect and trust, and I don't want that to continue.
They don't belong in county jail, where they're 1/5 of the population, but if not there, where?
Senator Mitchell says it's not just a law enforcement issue, it's an issue that society needs to address to help people with mental health issues. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Startling video up next here at 7. An out-of-control bus, the driver falling out of her seat. She's still trying to steer. Passengers are being flown into the air. The bus jumps onto train tracks.
Boston Airport X-ray leads to a shocking discovery. An 8-year-old boy curled up alive inside a suitcase.
And do you ever have second thoughts after giving someone your phone number? How do you protect yourself? We'll show you the digital solution that can keep you safe. Amazing video, a near collision in Philadelphia. Video of the city bus driver falling out of her seat, not wearing her seatbelt, and still trying to steer, unable to see the danger right in front of her. Here's ABC's Cecilia Vega.
The dangers of driving without a seatbelt. This bus surveillance video captures a Philadelphia bus driver thrown from her seat as she makes a U-turn. She even tries desperately to steer from the floor before falling flat on her back as the bus careens onto train tracks. Watch again as she slips from her seat, losing control of the bus. 2 passengers also thrown from their seats, injured along with the driver. Earlier this year, a similar scene in Albuquerque. Another driver who is not strapped in flies right out of his seat, crashing through the front windshield. Fortunately, he was not seriously hurt. Take another look at the aftermath. A pickup truck slamming into the side of the bus. Last year alone, more than 3,500 collisions involving transit buses, resulting in nearly 8,000 injuries. Bus drivers are required to wear seatbelts, but some don't always buckle up. And unfortunately for these passengers in Philadelphia, seatbelts were not an option.
Remarkable. No one was killed. ABC's Cecilia Vega reporting. She also tells us that authorities have not yet decided whether they will charge the driver.
Customs workers in Spain make a shocking discovery inside a suitcase. They found a little boy curled up inside. Police say guards stopped a Moroccan woman as she was crossing into Ceuta, a Spanish territory bordering Morocco in North Africa. An X-ray of her suitcase revealed a human silhouette. There you see it. Border officers detained the boy's mother and later his father. The father is being held on a charge of human rights abuse. The boy, who's 8, is reported to be in good health and is now in the custody of social services.
Here at home, our spring storm is allowing Mammoth Mountain Resort to postpone plans to close its ski season this weekend. Mammoth says it will delay Sunday afternoon's planned final ski run for at least a week, maybe even longer. Most ski resorts closed in March. Meanwhile, the new Snow Summit here locally to postpone the start of its summer programs until May 15th.
That's great news.
It's May.
Right.
You love this weather. Do you like this weather?
I do. It's great.
I love it. There's a lot of love going around here. Love this weather. It's late in the game, but it happened. Could have used it over the winter, but hey, take it when we can get it. Need a lot more of it. Looks like we might have actually a shower chance in the forecast. It's not really the big player right now, but we'll get to that later on. Let's talk about what's happening now, and then I get your weekend forecast coming up here in just a minute. Live Megadoppler 7000 HD. Well, it looks like from that far out view like not much is going on, but you zoom in and there's still a little bit of light snow by Big Bear Lake and Crestline and San Bernardino. A light shower possibly right there reaching the ground. A couple of echoes showing up there. And Wrightwood too with a echo of some snow right now at this moment. And a shower still hanging on around Commerce down to Bell Gardens. So you guys have been getting some light rain there at the moment. Otherwise, things are on the downtrend as far as the rainfall goes for tonight. The weekend's dry, okay? This is a nice time lapse of Angeles National Forest. How about it? That is out of a movie. Not really, but it's a nice time lapse there. Rainfall totals today were just under 7/10 at Chino. Good for you guys. That was pretty much the top of the rainfall totals that we saw. About a half an inch there in Claremont, exactly that. And just under in Lake Forest, 0.14 in Pasadena, just over a quarter of an inch in Avalon. Not a tremendous rainmaker, but we got some out of there. And Big Bear's 32 at the moment. Cold. It's going to be a cool day tomorrow, and then we'll start warming it up on Sunday. Temperatures getting above average. And by the way, as the sun is setting where it is dry right now, Laguna Beach, a fantastic image right there, 58 at the moment right now. Current temperatures, Laguna Beach. Other current numbers around the area, we got 59 in Oxnard, 58 Ontario. These are actually close to the morning low temperatures. So LA's morning low normally is 56, and we're at 60 degrees. Can you believe that? It's a flip-flop. We haven't been able to say that in a long time. So there it is. You see it very clearly, very distinct on the screen, this area of low pressure just spinning. Now, as it moves to the east, those winds around that low, counterclockwise, could bring some gusty conditions over the weekend for the Antelope Valley, but otherwise it's going to be a pleasant one. Look what happens here on Saturday and Sunday. There goes the low. This is a ridge of high pressure building in on Saturday and Sunday, and that means warmer weather and sunny skies. We have another trough to the west of that. Maybe by Thursday, Friday next week, we could maybe introduce a chance of rain, but right now, going to keep it dry. Going to keep it dry and going to keep some clouds in there next week. But for the weekend, fantastic. Cool morning, 55 Los Angeles, 52 Encino, 45 in the Antelope Valley, and we'll see that 7-day forecast. Not a huge warm-up tomorrow, but a little bit on Sunday, back closer to average, 73. Next week looks mild. There's some extra clouds on Thursday and Friday. We'll have to keep an eye and see how that plays out in terms of any rain. Right now, though, we'll keep it dry. Valley's IE, 71 Saturday, and then all the way up to 80, 81. That's the place to be Sunday and Monday. Lows in the 40s for a couple of days. A little cool. Next week looks nice. Beach forecast is dry. Not the warmest weather, but I get you around 67 on Monday and a little cooler than that toward the end of next week as we cool down with that low pressure I showed you moving in. The mountains, maybe a little snow continuing on through tonight, as you saw on the radar, and then that'll be out of here for tomorrow. Clearing skies, 62 Sunday and Monday. A nice week next week. Keep it dry. And high desert, breezy this weekend. 82 by Sunday. Nice. Nice changes. Changes are just, I feel like I'm in New England almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, except the accents are a little bit different.
Poxicon.
Dunkin' Donuts is here now. So get that.
Yeah, all right. Jonathan, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, do you ever have second thoughts after giving someone your phone number? It takes just one bad experience, a harassing call, an obscene voicemail, to make you wish there was some way to protect yourself.
Well, now there is. A new app that makes your phone number disappear. Consumer specialist Rick Romero shows us a digital solution that can keep you safe.
Relentless phone calls, threatening voicemails. A bad dating experience with a man Cynthia Crone had known for only a short time left her shaken and afraid.
He was calling and leaving harassing and obscene messages consistently, and it scared me, and I filed a police report, and I don't know enough about him to find him and file a restraining order.
Instead of cutting off her social life, Cynthia decided to do something about it. She got a new number, changed her routine, and armed herself with an app.
I burned the number. It's gone. Done.
Cynthia is talking about the Burner app. It's an app that gives her a layer of privacy that she didn't have before. You see, with the Burner app in her iPhone or Android smartphone, she can create unlimited different phone numbers, all at the touch of a button.
If I meet a man that wants to exchange contact details with me, I don't give him my real phone number.
We wanted to try it out, so Cynthia created a number for me, and I called her using it. The app worked as described, and I didn't see her real number, just the random one the app provided. Then, to really test it out, I said,
I'm a real jerk, and I think you want to get rid of this number.
And just like that, one tap from her eliminates the number entirely, and I'm cut off. Xavier Ramirez is in marketing, running social media sites for several local bands. And the Burner app allows him to keep important information out of the public eye.
I can create different phone numbers per project, per client, per band, per tour.
Xavier uses the Burner in his personal life, too.
I use it for, getting rid of stuff on Craigslist. I'll use it for Uber. The driver calls me. I know that that's an Uber driver. I use it for food delivery.
Downloading Burner is free. You pay to get credits depending on how many numbers you want to generate and how many texts and minutes you would use. For example, 8 phone numbers plus unlimited text and minutes cost $4.99 a month. There are other apps out there that create and burn phone numbers, like Google Voice. But Xavier tells me he prefers Burner because he can do more with it. Cynthia says she's learned a lot and never wants to feel that vulnerable again. In fact, she now runs a dating site called Catholics Click and advises daters on how they can protect themselves.
We're definitely trying to help people learn how to feel comfortable getting to know somebody and not feel scared and yet still be smart.
Most importantly,
it gives me a lot of peace of mind to know that I'm safe.
Rick Romero, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Makes so much sense. We do so much on our smartphones these days.
Now we could just get rid of those robocalls. Wouldn't that be nice?
There's a solution to that, too. Up next, what caused a deadly plane crash on an Atlanta freeway?
Plus, a principal under arrest after being caught in a car with a student. But they weren't doing what you might think.
Horror on a highway in Georgia. A small plane crashes into the middle of a busy interstate north of Atlanta and bursts into flames. All 4 people aboard the Piper PA-32 were killed in the crash on Interstate 285. Witnesses say the plane fell from the sky, grazed the hood of a tractor trailer, and then slammed into the median wall. The flames were so big it prevented witnesses from rescuing any of the victims. A witness sent in this video. No one else was injured, but traffic was backed up for miles. The NTSB is on the scene investigating.
A Florida school principal is facing charges after she was caught partially clothed with a student allegedly smoking pot. Police say the 45-year-old principal was found with her shirt unbuttoned, smoking pot in a car with an 18-year-old student. That student has a previous arrest record for marijuana possession. The principal has been suspended pending an investigation by the school's operator and is facing possession of marijuana charges.
We're updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30.
Including a new twist in the case of a stolen dog. 2 women posing as police officers took the pet, but they are not without their supporters. The surprising new development.
Plus, from Skid Row to college graduation, one young man's incredible journey.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Top story at 7:30, our snowy spring storm in Crestline. A big tree branch crashed into a home. I'm David Ono.
I'm Michelle Tuzzi. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Some areas got 5 inches of new snow. Schools in the Rim of the World School District were closed for a snow day today. Mountain resort areas were getting ready to launch their summer activities scheduled tomorrow, but with all the new snow, they're postponing that for 1 week.
Manhunt is underway for a suspect wanted for an attempted rape and the sexual assault of another woman near Milliken Avenue and Azusa Court in Rancho, Cucamonga. This is a composite sketch of the suspect wanted for 2 attacks on women just days apart. The first woman was attacked Saturday night about 10:45 near her apartment complex at Church in Milliken. She was able to free herself and get away safely. The second attack came Monday night about a mile away from the first assault.
A local dog owner is reunited with his owner after being dog-napped. He says 2 women dressed as LAPD animal cruelty officers took his dog from his Echo Park home about 2 weeks ago. One woman is in custody facing several felony charges. Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez has the possible motive behind the dog napping.
Does Fanny the dog look abused to you? The fur is flying now. The pet is the centerpiece of a criminal investigation. 2 women, one in custody, is accused of impersonating LAPD officers to steal the pet from her owner, Cesar Aguilar. Why go to such lengths? A motive is unfolding. Animal activist Brian P. says he spoke to the suspect, who is still at large.
She was involved in this out of genuine concern for the well-being of this animal.
A neighbor who did not want to be on camera tells us she raised a red flag, believing the dog was confined too long in a cage on Aguilar's porch.
I've called animal control, and it seems like nothing can be done.
LAPD detectives say they checked out prior complaints. Turns out, animal cruelty inspectors had responded to a call last year at the Echo Park home. The finding, though?
There is no signs that this dog is being abused or was neglected.
Suspect number 1, Jenny Smiley, is out on bail. LAPD says when her alleged accomplice is found and arrested, both women will face 4 felonies: burglary for entering Aguilar's home, then theft, theft by trickery, and extortion. The uniformed duo are accused of confronting Aguilar with official-looking papers and much more.
They threatened to have him deported if he did not surrender the dog.
Brian P. says much is at stake for the outstanding suspect.
I mean, this is a professional person who would certainly face repercussions if she were to be charged with felonies.
LAPD's message?
Acting as a police officer, that's against the law. It's wrong. You cannot do that.
Miriam Hernandez, ABC7, Eyewitness News.
A man convicted of murdering his girlfriend and her mother in a Redondo Beach apartment will spend the rest of his life in prison. 26-year-old Jonathan Chacon slit the throats of 19-year-old Courtney Bergman and her mother Vicky in 2012. Prosecutors suggest he killed them because he was jealous of Courtney's contact with another man. Today, a judge sentenced him to 2 consecutive life prison terms without the possibility of parole. In Hemet, a parolee is back behind bars accused of robbing someone in broad daylight. 24-year-old Jesse Gibson was arrested for strong-arm robbery and violating parole. Police say Gibson approached the victim and grabbed items out of the person's hand and backpack. A witness then followed Gibson, giving police his description and location. Gibson is now being held without bail. He's scheduled to appear in court next week.
California will likely have over a dozen desalination plants up and running in the next few years. Desalination involves siphoning seawater and turning it into drinking water. Experts say it offers a stable source of water, but some are concerned about its impact on fish. Still, there are 17 desalination plants in the planning stages in California, including a $1 billion desalination plant set to open in Carlsbad in a few months.
We certainly have a number of people that are interested in developing desalination for both emergency and base supply water. I think I don't think it's the future. I think it's here. We just need to make sure we're smart about how we do it.
There are already 11 small facilities in California, but most are small, generating 500,000 gallons per day or less. And it didn't rain cats and dogs today, but some areas saw a good downpour overnight and this morning, and every little bit helps in our extreme drought. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory shows us one local couple getting creative to beat the drought and having a barrel of fun doing it.
The rain is long gone in Azusa, but a lot of the water is still here at the Solom home, buckets of it.
Everything that hits the roof runs down the roof, and so he's put the barrels down at the bottom so that it catches all the water that runs off of the roof.
Nancy and Gary started catching and storing their rainwater a few months ago, all because of California's drought, and they're shocked at just how much they're saving.
It's less than 1/4 of an inch, And we've got barrels full of water now. It's amazing to see it.
Gary jury-rigged this system using some plastic tubing and some garbage cans. It only cost him about $150, and he says he's probably not done.
I'm still going to get a little electric pump, so I don't have to, I'm getting too old to bucket everything all the time.
They now have enough water to irrigate the plants for at least a few days, and that's just from 1/4 of an inch of rain.
I mean, these used to hold toys for the grandchildren, and the grandkids now are 10 and up. So there's no more toy barrels, but now we have rain barrels that are collecting the rain.
For the Solums, it all adds up, and they're convinced if more people did it, drop by drop, it could make a big difference in fighting the drought. In Azusa, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
An update now on a small story that continues to build mini homes for the homeless in South LA. Last week we showed you Elvis Summers, an online retailer who built small wooden mobile homes on wheels for homeless grandmother Irene Smokey McGee, all for $500. Now his YouTube video has gone viral and he started a GoFundMe campaign called Tiny House Huge Purpose to help others. So far it's raised more than $60,000. Builders, contractors, carpenters, and volunteers have also offered to donate materials and time to build more tiny homes. Summers hopes to get the city of LA involved as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A young man who spent 2 years in a homeless shelter with his family is graduating from Loyola Marymount University tomorrow.
He is the second student who's lived at the Union Rescue Mission to go on to graduate from college. Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillips has his inspiring story.
Kenneth Chansey and his younger sister would take this walk through Skid Row every day on their way to school.
You really see Skid Row at 6:30 in the morning, and so walking her past that was really, it's just where I am now versus walking through Skid Row every morning to get to school. It's just been such a journey.
Saturday, the 23-year-old will take a very different walk to receive his diploma at Loyola Marymount University, a dream that began in this 200-square-foot room Kenneth shared with his father and sister.
This was it. This was home for 2 years.
Though it wasn't much to Kenneth, who was 15 at the time, it was better than living on the streets or even sleeping on a bus.
And I slept on the 4 bus to downtown to Santa Monica and then back to downtown. And that, I mean, it still makes me emotional now, but no one should have to experience that. And that's the hard part.
While at the Union Rescue Mission, Kenneth was on the varsity track, swim, and football team and maintained a 4.0 average. Those around him immediately recognized and were inspired by his drive.
And the journey from living in a van, going to school with the same set of clothes every day, feeling really bad about life, and yet he never, ever gave up.
Kenneth says he was embarrassed about being homeless and never told any of his classmates where he lived. For him, the rooftop of the mission was his escape.
It's beautiful, it's rain, you see the view, but mainly because you escaped Skid Row. Everything's beautiful if you don't look down.
And now, with a degree in political science from LMU, Kenneth says his work is far from over. He wants to change the perception of homelessness, using his life as an example.
When people learn of his story, I think it inspires them all that, hey, if Kenneth can do it, maybe I can do it.
Reporting from the Union Rescue Mission, I'm Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Great story.
Incredible inspiration.
Yeah, we wish him the best, too. Up next, a mistrial declared today in a high-profile murder case.
Plus, shot by mistake, why police shot a man who called officers for help, and why he says he made a tragic mistake as well.
All right, that storm system is on its way out. I will detail your weekend forecast, the warm-up in store, and your 7-day. Stick around.
A judge declared a mistrial today in the murder trial of a man accused of killing 6-year-old Aiton Pates in New York City in 1979. Jurors say after 18 days of deliberation, they were hopelessly deadlocked in the case. In 2012, Pedro Hernandez made a surprise confession telling investigators that he choked the boy in the basement of a convenience store and then dumped his body a few blocks away. But a body was never found, and prosecutors had no physical evidence linking Hernandez to the crime. Defense attorneys argued another man killed Pates and that Hernandez is mentally ill.
A dangerous response to a home invasion in South Carolina. Police got a 911 call. They arrived at the scene and then they made a tragic mistake. They shot someone they thought was an intruder, but it was actually the man who had made the call. ABC's Steve Osunsami has details.
The call for help came from inside this home. 26-year-old Bryant Hayward was begging police to rush.
Please tell them to hurry up, please.
He told the operator that 2 men with guns were breaking into his home, saying both were African American.
It's an emergency and they have guns. Please come.
Okay, someone's trying to break into your home?
Yes, and they have guns.
According to the police report, sheriff's deputies Richard Powell and Keith Tyner saw a gunshot hole in the front window and had no idea the burglars were already gone. That's when a back door swung open and Hayward, holding his gun, came out. Police say they didn't know he lived there, asked him to put the gun down, and when he didn't, they fired.
This is a remarkable young man, and our prayers are with him and his family.
Today, police played audio from the ambulance ride to the hospital, and it backs up the police report.
I saw the officer.
Okay.
I should have put the gun down.
Okay.
But I did.
Right.
And he thought that I was the crook. And he shot.
Okay.
His family still says police are wrong.
To not take the time to pause and make sure that you are not shooting the person that called you is of concern to the family.
Hayward's family says they're not sure if their son will walk again. Both officers are suspended tonight, but police are saying it's not race that made the difference. The gun did.
Again, that was Steve Osunsami reporting. Up next, meteorologist Jonathan Novak has your complete weekend forecast.
Plus, coming up in sports, a Clippers player is fined for yelling out, of all people, an opposing player's mom.
And the unsavory extras in your cooking spices. Results of recent lab tests on powdered spices, and what does this mean for your health?
An awesome picture from outer space. This is the Bighorn River that stretches through parts of Wyoming and Montana. And notice how it appears that the river is floating above the land. This was tweeted out today by astronaut Scott Kelly, who's spending an entire year on the International Space Station. Now, obviously, the river isn't really floating. It's an optical illusion caused by the light from the sun hitting the Earth from an angle our eyes and our brain aren't used to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It does totally look like it's popping up.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we are coming off a great winter storm, some rain, some snow. Jonathan Novak joins us now with what else we're in store for.
That got me. I'm trying to... It's real frustrating. I'm trying to see it as it should be. All right. I'm making up 7,000 HD. It's the kind of thing that just gets to me. All right. The showers and snow are pretty much wrapped up. Except, Big Bear, you are still seeing some light snowfall. Check it out. This is about all that's going on around town. The only game right here, Big Bear. A few light sprinkles around Crestline down to San Bernardino. Brightwood, that's the last of it. Just wrapping up at this moment. So tonight looks like it is going to be relatively overall dry for just about everybody. Tomorrow, nice. It's going to be cooler though, and I want to show you that a little bit later, but let's get to some of the images we've gotten from some of the snow and the rainfall totals. This is from Steve Rhodes, Mount Wilson. Nice shot there, and thanks to Alejandro as well for this. That's East Los Angeles, guys. Look at that lightning, huh? Nice stuff. Thanks for sending those in. Rainfall totals were not, well, we say impressive, but they weren't tremendous. 0.38, so almost 0.4 in San Bernardino and Beaumont. A little over a quarter in Torrance and 0.2 in Long Beach. 0.35, 35/100 in Temecula. So that's about what we expected, a quarter to a half of an inch overall for rainfall totals. Long Beach, 63 right now. It is going to be a cool evening. Temperatures in LA is at this moment 60. Normally for morning lows we're around, I think 56 is the morning low average. And we're at 60. We are so cool right now behind this system. We have a warm-up in store, though. I will tell you why. Here's that low right there. Check that out. That area of low pressure just spinning the winds around it counterclockwise. So for the weekend, we might see some of those winds around on the northwest part of that storm, bringing some gusty conditions to the Antelope Valley and some of the mountains. Now, you see that right there? That arc, that's a ridge of high pressure that builds in for Saturday and Sunday. That's going to mean some warmer weather. Temperatures back in the 80s for the valleys for Sunday and even into Monday. This is Saturday, 2 p.m. You'll see that ridge building in Saturday, Sunday. Now, look to the west of that. You see a trough that starts moving in later on in the forecast, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's going to bring the temperatures down just a little bit and the cloud cover back into play. Next Thursday, Friday will be partly to mostly cloudy, it looks like right now. No chance of rain at this moment, but it could change. 55 overnight in Los Angeles is about average, but overall it's going to feel kind of cool out there. It's going to, with the clouds out, that type of May gray feeling. Los Angeles Metro and Orange County 7-day forecast looks like this. 73 on Sunday, 75 on Monday. Not a huge warm-up for the LA area, but we've got 80s for the valleys, i.e. 80, 81 from Sunday to Monday, down into the 70s from that point on. So nice weekend ahead for you guys. The beach forecast looks good. Some morning clouds are possible here, lower to mid-60s. Not the warmest I can give you, but 67 on Monday is going to top it off for the warmest temperature. Overall, a pretty mild forecast for you. Cool, I'd say cold tonight. Mountains 24, then only 54 for a high tomorrow, but that's better than you did today in the 30s. The snow should be tapering off, by the way, in the next couple of hours for you guys in the mountains. And the high desert looks breezy. Watch out for the winds kicking up. Temperatures into the 80s by Sunday and into Monday. Back to you guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Yep. A pivotal Game 3 between the Clippers and the Rockets at Staples Center. The series is all tied up at 1, and right now the game is early in the first quarter. The Rockets lead the Clippers 11-8. Meantime, Matt Barnes has been fined $50,000 for comments he made to James Harden's mom, of all people. The heated exchange happened in the Clippers game 2 loss at Houston Wednesday night. The NBA says the language was inappropriate. Earlier in the game, Barnes got a technical when he bumped into Harden after a foul. At a shoot-around today, Barnes wouldn't say what was said between him and Harden's mom. He says he didn't know the fan he was yelling at was Harden's mom.
I had no idea who it was. Okay. I didn't find out who it was until I was on the bus because I saw DJ speak to her at halftime as well. And I was like, who is that? He's like, James Harden. I was like, oh, God, that's going to make it 100 times worse. So, you know, I don't know her. I don't really know James too well. Like I said, we've made our peace, and, you know, we're focused on winning this game.
To hockey now, the Ducks look to start a new streak tonight after dropping Game 3 in Calgary. Anaheim was just 19 seconds away from a commanding 3-0 lead in the series, but the Flames tied it and then won just 4 minutes into overtime. Right now in Game 4, the Flames lead the Ducks 2-1 as they begin the second period.
spices are known to improve flavor and health and offer some nutritional benefits as well. But a recent lab analysis might have you losing your appetite for some that appear to be offering unsavory extras. Our food coach Lori Corbin looks at some suspicious spices.
Tim Plunkett takes turmeric to reduce inflammation, but a recent report turned his stomach when he learned what else might be in the bottle.
The sample that they found, I believe there was like 90 fragments of those, a whole cigarette beetle larvae, and some rodent hair.
Yes, lurking amidst powdered turmeric was larva and animal hair.
We found insect parts in every one of the spices we tested, both organic products as well as regular spices that are on the market. And we found anywhere from just a few insect parts per two teaspoonful serving to up to 195 insect parts in that same serving size.
Consumer Lab has been testing products independently for the last 15 years. For their turmeric tests, they purchased 5 different brands, organic and standard, looking for heavy metals and filth contamination. None had high levels of heavy metal, but insect parts range from 7 to 195 fragments in a 2-teaspoon serving.
People probably just don't want to see, a larva, in their turmeric.
Plunkett was stunned at the findings.
Not something I was hoping to supplement with.
But experts say this may be more of an ick factor than a health risk. The FDA does not set limit for things like rodent hairs when it comes to turmeric, but
the FDA does set limits for curry powder, which contains turmeric. That same 2-teaspoon serving may contain up to 40 insect fragments or 2 rodent hairs. So if turmeric was held to that same standard, only 1 of the 5 would have been approved.
Many spices offer up health benefits, but a little consumer knowledge and moderate consumption may make a big difference. Lori Corbin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
For more news straight ahead, here at 7:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
The FBI doesn't have a right to break the law. I didn't start this fight, okay?
There's nobody that wants to get rid of bad cops more than I do.
You're going to hear FBI recordings that reveal the clash between former Sheriff Baca and the feds. It's an Eyewitness News exclusive investigation inside the FBI operation that pushed the sheriff out. Plus, a group of tourists get a big surprise when black bears start chasing them. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
The Mexican American Opportunity Foundation hosted its 36th biannual Latina Women's Conference today. ABC7 was an important part of it, and Eyewitness News anchor Ellen Layville was master of ceremonies. Diane Medina, our Vice President of Diversity and Community Relations, hosted one of the workshops called Careers in Television. ABC7 traffic reporter Alicia Del Valle was one of the panelists. The conference included high school and college students from throughout the LA area.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com.
And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Good night.